Lots to talk about today, right?
I get a big picture one on the league, Jim, if I could. It's kind of, the league is right at kind of the quarter pole. So just a general summary of, if you can wrap up the first quarter of the season.
Yeah, well, you know what? When we talked about this as a team today, so I think, I might not have the exact date. I think it was September 30th. We stepped on the plane for duels. You'd know better than me. When, October 1st it was. Okay, we played the 30th, I think. So that's just about 6 weeks, and that's been as challenging 6 weeks. I'm just not a big long timer in the league, but as challenging as 6 weeks as I've been a part of, and I know some players have played more than have been in here longer, and they agreed that there's been a lot of travel, and just right up into, if you just think about the last little run, going out to Nashville, long flight to Minnesota, back to back, home quickly, bang bang back up to Calgary. It's just time for us to catch a breath. So have a day off, a good practice. So how do we evaluate the first quarter based on all of that? I think record-wise, you say it's probably about where we deserve to be, and we'll take it. We'll take it, knowing full well that now we got to get better. We've played a lot of road games, haven't practiced a lot, have been scrambly, we haven't been crisp. Chance to get better that way, and then take advantage of some home games. So we're satisfied. That's a pretty long answer to tell you we're satisfied.
I'm so expecting to kind of the quarter of the year,
Yeah, but different type of quarter of a year this year, based on everybody who's been along on these trips.
Look at your practice schedule. Like, have you laid out things for, let's say, the next couple of weeks now, like what your intents are over those practices?
Well, it started today. Yeah, we really we feel like our defensive structure is pretty good. So we changed the system a little bit, and there's always a concern, what's that going to look like? We feel like the defensive structure and defensive part of our game is pretty good. Haven't had a lot of practice time, as I mentioned. Now we're going to try to take advantage of two areas we think we can be better, our breakouts and playing in the O-zone and handling the puck more and being more dangerous in the O-zone. So this gives us a chance to focus on these over the next 10 days.
So 10 days at home, the 3 home games, that's like the longest time you guys have been home this season. How important are these next 10 days? Not just the 3 home games, but the practice time specifically.
I think that. I think, and I'm glad you framed it that way, because it's not just the 3 home games. It's this block of time and having as much practice time as we're going to have to. And then it gets busy again, because that's the way the league works. But I think it's really important. And I just think it's important that we've made the commitment to play good defensive hockey. This team wants to compete and play. And now we've got to improve in some areas, and let's take the time to do that.
In past seasons, the first 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it was, the term identity would get brought up a lot. It'd be a big topic of conversation. This early in the season, do you feel like your team has an identity, has a sense of identity?
Yeah, I do. Maybe I should have used that word when I talked about, we have good defensive structure. We're not an easy team to play against. We don't give up a lot of chances. Colorado pushed us a little bit harder than we would have liked as far as chances, the quality that we gave up there. But I would say that. I would say it's not going to be an easy game. We're going to have to work for your chances, not going to give up odd man rushes. So that part's good. We'd like to have our identity grow in that, they're dangerous in the offensive zone. And the breakouts, have to be better to get us there more often.
Every team, every season has injuries, suspensions, whatever it is that causes the lineup to change. Do you find that to be a challenge in forging that identity, or does it maybe even help because you have to deal with it?
Well, it helps if you can win. If you can win and get momentum and people can feel good about their role and guys can come together. Sometimes if it doesn't go that way, then you never get your feet under you again. So the fact that you have injuries and you're able to band together, and some guys, Alex Turcotte, for example, even though he's a forward, jump up and play as much as he has, who maybe you didn't expect, and through different circumstances. So those things help you, yes.
How's the progress of Alex Turcotte skating out there in red jersey? What have you had to share with us about him?
I just have to ask you first, did anybody seen a red jersey like that before? Like that was cherry red, is that what we're going to call that? Never seen it before. Striking, yeah, there's a good word for it. So it wasn't just us, we were like, yeah. You know what? He had full practice, but in a red. So always in the red means you're not ready to play yet. So he'll talk to the doctors. He's getting closer. There's probably a chance, but probably not probable. Probably not probable.
And
Write that one down.
And then Kemper as well, just, I know you guys asked him after the game, just for an update, you didn't have one. Is there
Yeah.
anything you could share with us today to kind of follow up on that?
Yeah, he's day-to-day with the lower body, yeah.
Thank you.
Same for Caleb day-to-day, but upper body or?
Caleb's upper body, yeah, I would call him day-to-day right now.
On the opposite end to that, you bring up Eric Portillo, talk about that call-up, and is there a plan for him maybe the next few games to start one of them, or?
We haven't gotten that far, Russell, but he's, had a great season last year. I don't know a lot about him. I haven't seen him play that much, only through what I've heard from the minor league guys. Of course, we didn't have him in training camp last year, but we did this year, so I got a chance there. But he had a great season. They rode him hard last year. It really helped that team come together for their great playoff run. You see the size right away. The guys feel like he's, if we got to put him in, he's ready to play. So he's done that kind of work. I'm not sure if we're going to start him. We haven't got that far in the discussions, but they're confident that if he has to go in, he's ready to play.
We just talked to him a little bit ago and kind of said, it's nice to have the Rain guys up here, and he played with Ritter for a time last year too. Do you think it's nice for him to at least have those other resources, whether they're goalies or not, to rely on for his first call-up?
It really is. I've been there myself, and the familiar face and a couple guys that can just make you relaxed a little bit more. It can be intimidating, there's no question. So those guys will really help him, yeah. And he's been around, but I'll tell you what, the first time you walk into the NHL dressing room and put it on for real, it's a different feeling. It's exciting, and he's earned it. But there's a lot of emotions that go with it.
Watching today's practice, the power play looked a little bit different. Maybe just looking for a little bit of a shake-up with that unit.
Yeah, there's a few things there, or a couple things, I guess, at least. We thought Q did a really good job at the net front last year with that group, with Kopi's group, you'd call it. So we want to get him back, getting those touches. And then we like Juice on the point. We haven't felt that he's been getting enough looks on the power play this year, and he's at the top. He handles it, and he's got a good shot, so he gets a chance to shoot it. So I think that more than anything, it's a unique structure, I guess, if you say with 5 forwards. But that's where we're at. Get Juice some more putt touches and get Q back in and around the net.
6 weeks out of the season, but what have you seen from Alex so far? He seems like a different player from last year.
Turk? Yeah. Yeah, he's stronger again, and I think his run of 10 or 15 games last year really helped set his summer up. He came in here as confident as I've ever seen him. So you build on that, and then you get off to a good start in the preseason, and then you take another step. So I would say a combination of the two things, just stronger physically and his confidence. I think he feels that he belongs in the NHL, that he can be a good player in the NHL. And, you can just say, well, everybody should feel that way. Well, it's hard. It's a hard league, but I think he got over that hump where he now knows he belongs.
Do you think the Harvard thing has anything to do with?
Well, you're talking about LaFerriere. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was talking about
sorry.
Turcotte. No,
Yeah.
sorry, I was talking
Yeah,
about Turcotte.
because he just seems like a different player, and he did say last year that he was uncertain of whether he belonged, but how it worked and what to do.
Oh, yeah.
And almost the same thing we were just saying. He feels more confident. And I'm wondering if the Harvard
Yeah.
thing, does that change the way a player plays and acts and?
I don't know. I don't know. I maybe. I don't have the answer to that. But I will say with him was a little bit different story. Of course, once he made the team, I thought he had a great season last year. So his start to the season hasn't surprised me at all. He had a long enough run of 82 games, and you saw him do things. I know he didn't score that many goals last year. He had a lot of chances. We're saying, oh, maybe he doesn't have a great shot. He worked on it. He has a good shot. Had a good shot last year, by the way. Sometimes the puck doesn't go in. It's going in maybe too frequently for him this year as far as just shooting percentage. It'll slow down a little bit. But he is a good, solid player that's good in a lot of different areas of the game. So no surprise with him.
You had Tanner Jeannot with you on the most recent trip, even though he wasn't able to play. How important was it to kind of keep him around the group and keep him skating so that now that he's eligible, he's having his right contact?
Yeah. Well, it's always good to be around the group. Even though he's a veteran guy, he could have stayed back. But the beauty was we had some extra ice, and he was able to go out with Derek Johnson and really talk about extra skating. And we've all been there where you spend 45, 50 minutes just going hard. And so I think really important trip for him just to keep his conditioning up, a lot of puck touches. So it should be seamless coming in tomorrow.
Coach, when you look at tomorrow's opponent, I know it's different, you're always worried about where your team plays, but Detroit any different, and what challenges do they pose?
Well, a couple things. They're playing very, very well defensively, as good as I've seen them. They're not giving much at all. We've watched already a couple games already, so stronger defensively than I can remember. And I think, you know, a player that's going to jump out at you is the big defenseman Edvinsson, 77. You know, he played a little bit last year, but he's, you know, like most young players, taking a step and playing with Sider right now. They're a pretty formidable pair, but he'll jump out at you.
Sorry, Q at center, beginning of the year, moved in the wing, now you have him back at center. What do you feel like his confidence level is at right now? It seems like he's maybe kind of, I don't know, dishing off a little bit more.
Yeah.
He talks about his shooting
Yeah.
a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, well, he's not where he was. I mean, I think we can see that, and a player's confidence and swagger. I like to call it swagger as much as confidence goes up and down, and we got to help him get that back. And I think he's played well. He just hasn't been near as dangerous offensively as he was early, and I think by trying to get him back on the power play and get him more involved there offensively, just with touches and chances, I think that's going to help him with his 5-on-5 game.
You have Hellenius recalled recently, Andre Lee made the team out of camp, now you've got Portillo and Ferrari called up today. How much input do you as a head coach have in which players are coming up and down from Ontario, and how much communication do you have with Marco Stern?
Well, we talk with Marco. I mean, I would talk more what those decisions would be with Blakey and our whole management staff. And we talk regularly, and you know, we're always included, which is great. You know, our opinion gets a vote, and ultimately they'll decide. But yeah, there's lots of communication there, and the fact that everybody's so close, Marco's just down the hall, the players are right here. I think it makes it pretty easy for everybody to be on the same page.
With Mo having been around, a little bit the last couple of years, is he kind of like a very easy player to plug into the system and into the room?
Yeah, he is. He is. He's got good familiarity with everybody, and I think the other thing for us right now is him and Spenny played a lot together with the Reign. They spent a lot of time together, so it's a chance for both of them maybe to just get in there together and be comfortable together, and make it less of a getting to know you period as far as where they're going to be each other on the ice.
Would you say that move is maybe to help, you just mentioned Spenny, who's probably gone through so many different defensive partners lately, it seems like
Right.
it maybe has impacted his game a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if it's would be specifically to help Spenny, but it's should be pretty natural for both of them. So I would think that would be the easiest transition for them. But yeah, I know we called Mo up on his merits and want to get him back in. Played good for us last year, but we think the familiarity will help them both. Okay.